Hi, my name is Sushma and I'm a speech and language pathologist at Play Street Specially Abled Educare Trust. Today, let's talk about feeding. Feeding disorders occur in 25 to 35% of developmentally normal children and 40 to 70% of children with developmental disabilities or chronic medical conditions. Feeding problems can be nightmarish for families to handle. You try and your child just does not budge. Getting them to taste new foods is turning into a major battle during mealtime. These are signs your child could be having a feeding disorder.
When we talk about how feeding disorders develop, we need to look at first physiology. That is, how does the body and brain function? Is there a history of prematurity, chronic illness, multiple medical interventions and medications, or is there underlying neurological issues? The physiology can in turn affect the motor skills, both gross and fine motor skills. This could lead to learned behaviors because something went wrong with the stacks below. For example, a child with cerebral palsy could have difficulty chewing and swallowing his food, and if they have one negative experience around food like choking, then they learn to be hesitant around food, especially new food.
When a child throws tantrums during mealtime, it could be due to underlying sensory-motor issues. They could manifest as gagging, coughing or choking, refusal to accept certain textures, delayed eating milestones, that is, he could be accepting liquids and purees but might be having trouble with chewable solids. There could be low intake of food, that is, he might not be consuming enough calories because it takes so long to eat, or food could be falling off from the mouth. If your child shows any of these signs, please visit a feeding specialist as soon as possible. Your therapist will evaluate the root cause of the problem and suggest some recommendations accordingly.
Be it in terms of seating posture, getting the child ready for feeding therapy using a play-based approach, normalizing the oral tactile sensitivity, improving the oral motor skills, or understanding the sensory needs of the child and incorporating that information into the feeding plan. It is also very important for the parents to be a part of the team and understand the realistic expectations they can have during this intervention process.
Sometimes feeding issues could be caused due to underlying anxiety issues. ARFID is one such complaint. ARFID is Avoidant Restrictive Food Intake Disorder.
ARFID is a condition present in the DSM-5 where children have anxiety around food and eating. Children with ARFID have a poor appetite in general, which can lead to a disconnect in the hunger cycle. Here, treatment must not include force, threats or pressure, as this can lead to further anxiety and increased restriction.
Then there is pica, which is consumption of non-food substances such as chalk, mud, paper, etc. This is often seen in children with autism where they try to seek sensory feedback, but they could be having trouble differentiating between food and non-food substances, or it could be due to low levels of iron or zinc. So in this case, the course of treatment is dependent on the root cause of the problem.
To summarize, it is important for professionals and parents to understand whether the feeding disorder is because of an underlying sensory difficulty, a medical issue, an anxiety problem, or a behavioral problem. It is also important that trust and a relationship-based intervention is used in a feeding program to yield better results.
If you have found this video to be informative, please hit the like button, share it with your friends and subscribe to our channel for more interesting content. Thank you.